Okay, so I may have been a little optimistic. The ticket situation is worse than expected, at least that I expected. Looks like the amount of people that may have extra tickets is much smaller than expected. And it looks like a lot of people are not going to be able to go to Burning Man this year that want to. I want people to be really clear about why this is. This is not because of a ticketing mess up. This isn't because of a lottery system, or this isn't even because of scalpers. Even if there was no scalping, there would still be massive more demand than there is supply. We have this creature that has been growing and growing and growing, and it's too big for its cage. And so it's busting out. It's totally cool to be upset about this situation. It's totally cool to be devastated by the prospect of not going to Burning Man. It's not so cool to then start being angry at the way it's been set up. Nothing but good intentions have been behind all of the decisions. It is easy to see the scalping and think, "Dwah!" And then that draw, because the organizers somehow did not stop this from happening. Dwah! But I mean, come on. Nobody created this problem except for the awesomeness of Burning Man. We have a situation where the event itself has a principle of radical inclusion. That means we don't have any sort of preferential treatment for the DJs, for the artists, for the old-timers. It's that if you want to come, you should have every chance to go. And that principle, while it creates part of the magic, is biting us in the butt. The equation, radical inclusion plus totally awesome experience, plus the laws of supply and demand, equals this. In some ways, this is horrific. In some ways, this is inevitable. And in some ways, this is a gift. I know feels terrible to hear, and it's one of those things where it's only recently that I've kind of gotten it. You can't be told about the benefits of bad things. You have to go through enough of them in your life before you realize, oh, right, I didn't know at the time that this was going to lead me to... How many times have you had a relationship where you're like, no, please don't leave me, oh my God. And then a year later you're like, thank God I'm not with that person anymore. And as those things happen more and more in your life, I'm 40. You begin to let go of the absolute feeling that you have about things being good or bad. So with that in mind, what could be happening right now? In some ways, this is inevitable. Burning Man, if we believe that this is actually an amazing movement, this is a world-changing way of interacting with one another, then it cannot be contained by a playa. Right now, we are constricted by the Bureau of Land Management. But even if they said, you know what, keep them coming, still, if we are going to think big, eventually the creature has to, whoosh, and the pain that we're having now is the impetus to do something magical, perhaps, to think outside the box, think beyond the playa. No fish evolved and crawled onto the land because everything was fine and comfortable. They only did so when it got crowded, when there was no more room on the playa. And they said, well, let's see if there's any place for our theme camp to do some event up here on this land thing. And maybe, it sucks the first time. Maybe the first time they go up there, but this is the ebb and flow, the chaos and order of growth and evolution, and that's what's happening right now. I mean, think about, as you inflict your anger, think about the man last year. Remember what it looked like? It was stepping between two things. It was in transition What's the theme this year? 2.0. In many ways, I'm devastated. My camp is very short on tickets. I don't know who's gonna, well, I don't know who's gonna give me back rubs every day and, feed me grapes. These are big problems. But seriously, it's a huge change. It's a huge shift. And we're all gonna have to figure out how to deal with it. One of those things of dealing with it is gonna be thinking beyond Burning Man. Thinking into communal living situations, taking this massive budget that we used to put into our theme camp and maybe putting it towards buying property, maybe throwing our own festival, maybe doing something incredible at what once was a smaller festival. Have you looked around at how many things are going on, how many regionals, how many festivals, how many art things? The fuse is lit. Burning Man is the core. Burning Man is Mecca. But you can have spiritual experiences all over the world. I know I'm thinking outside the box. I hope you are too. I hope you have a little more faith in who we are and what we are and what this is. This is not about scalpers. This is not about organization or distribution methods. This is about this much space, this much desire, and the inevitability that there will be frustration. So, I wish you well in your frustration. I hope that it is the pressure that births something magic. And, all that being said, there will be lots of tickets transferring and changing place and changing hands between now and the burn. I get it. That makes it hard to plan. That makes it hard to make your art project or whatever. I get that. I'm not saying everything's fine. I get it. It's not fine in the sense that it's not the same as it's always been. It's chaotic. It's different. And we have this windstorm, dust storm, collapse of our shade structure in the default world that now we're going to have to figure out. But 10,000 more tickets coming. Lots of tickets going to change hands. Please don't buy a scalp ticket. Please don't sell it above face value plus your fees. And please try to direct your frustration at shifting the world, not at people who are putting their hearts into something that they care about as much as you. I hope I see you at Burning Man. But I'll look forward to seeing you wherever that may be. Whether Flipside, whether Symbiosis, whether a beach in Thailand. Oh, the places we'll go. Because we can't all go to Burning Man.